Pinoy baiting has been a long discussed topic ever since the first pasty vlogger stepped foot in the Philippines. Targeting people's national pride has become a huge niche in the vlogging sphere, and where there is opportunity, there are always people to seize it. We've been called Pinoy Baiters since the day we said the word Philippines on YouTube. When we unexpectedly reacted to SB19 during our K-pop reaction days, we never realized the direction our YouTube career or our lives would go. Now, in 2024, although both of us aren't in the Philippines right now, I'm in the US, we have spent almost 2 years of our lives in the Philippines creating content around the country that we know and love. And over those 2 years, we have seen content surrounding the Philippines completely change. So in this video, we're going to be discussing Pinoy baiting and why that concept has made us hate vlogging.
Did you hear what he just said? Hate vlogging? So first, I'm going to start with our story on what drove us to the Philippines, because the reason you go to the Philippines actually has a lot to do with the concept of Pinoy baiting. We stumbled very unexpectedly across the K-pop group SB19 back in March of 2021. We were a K-pop reaction channel, and we totally thought it was just a good old K-pop song until we heard some interesting words throughout there that we could actually understand from Spanish.
Intelligente! Specifically, I just remember Intelligente specifically.
I do too. It actually took us a long time to realize.
What?
Wait.
What?
Is that the Philippines? I think it is. If so, that would explain the Spanish.
True. And this says... It did. That's just pretty sad because we watched a lot of K-pop songs up until that point. And after that SB19 reaction video was a huge success, this was right at their explosion point onto the scene. People wanted us to react to more and more SB19. And around that same time, actually a few months later, we wanted to start our new channel, TriFate Geo, at the time known as TriFate Lifestyle actually. Our plan on this channel was to start reacting to informational videos about different countries so that in the future we would be able to travel there, because at the time it was still COVID and we weren't really able to go anywhere. So we were going to learn about the countries and then go there. Obviously, since we had so many brand new SB19 fans, Filipinos, we'd try the Philippines one along with Korea and Japan and India. The video did super well. And we started doing more and more Philippines reaction content like that, and we were learning more and more about the country. And this is really where we first started hearing about Pinoy baiting. It started popping up in our comments. You guys are Pinoy baiters. And we're like, what? What does that even mean?
So we kept seeing this concept more and more, and we actually decided to start traveling to enact our plan of traveling to the countries we reacted to.
We were really excited to be able to see the place for real. We headed out on our long flight, our terrible flight to the Philippines. The video is actually called. But we made it to the Philippines. And I mean, at this point, the interesting thing is we were vlogging in India and Georgia and Dubai this whole time. And the concept of clickbaiting people's pride, the concept of Pinoy baiting, it wasn't a thing to us at that point. We were just going there to experience it and post our videos experiencing these things. Back then, it was such a foreign concept to go to a country just to clickbait the people. And I feel like at that time, it wasn't as big of a thing as it is now.
Well, in this time in Quezon City, exploring around, enjoying our time, just immersing ourselves and experiencing what it's like to be in the Philippines.
And eating Pizza Hut.
Eating lots and lots of food. That's what we like to do. But we kept getting people just begging us to go to BGC and do these specific things. And also at the same time, we were seeing why. And we got to see lists of vloggers. And they all were just shocked at BGC seeing these super over-the-top videos about travel vlogs. But instead of a travel vlog, it's Italy or the Philippines about a specific mall in the Philippines, which is literally modeled after Italy. Of course it's Italy or the Philippines. Just a crazy concept, but it's basically poking at the pride and being like, wow, you guys are like Italy, which is an amazing country. So we headed to BGC and did that for ourselves.
We definitely did it in our own way. And I think this was the first time where we started to get hated because we saw this Pinoy baiting happening, this clearly over the top, over exaggerated stuff. And we went to BGC and we started making fun of those concepts. We did our whole, is this Italy or the Philippines? With a totally over the top thumbnail and Of course, it got a ton of views because, I mean, Pinoy baiting. We'll talk about that later. But then also our first BGC video, we walked around and purposely were calling things modern. Like there was one point where we said, "Oh my gosh, they have KFC here? That's so modern." And we were just making fun of the vloggers who would do these over-the-top things.
As soon as we leave our taxi, I believe we're like, oh, this isn't modern enough, and then we turn around and act like we're leaving.
But that was just the whole goal of that was for us, because we had all these people telling us BGC, 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 BGC. And then we see the videos they're watching from BGC and we're just like, really, guys? You want to see this place again? Yeah, we took advantage of that because we were epic memesters, you know what I'm saying?
I think we're the funniest people in the world.
But yeah, that was kind of our first time where we really went in and we started making fun of that type of stuff. And that trend continued throughout our Philippines content from there on out, really. I mean,
we really wouldn't have enjoyed our time here if we just put on these fake faces. So now that the basis of our arrival in the Philippines has been laid down, I'm kind of going to zoom through the next 2 years, which is basically that we weren't just staying in the Philippines only. We wanted to travel to other countries too. So I mean, instead of getting our ACR cards and just staying here the whole time, we just like to do visa runs and explore more countries because we like travel. That's what the whole reason we made the channel in the first place, is to travel to tons of countries. So we went to Malaysia, we went to Vietnam. Ow, I hit my funny bone. Yeah.
No!
It's so funny. And just zoom, 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 zoom. I'm fast forwarding through all of this. We just kept traveling, and we had our travel vlog channel that we wanted, but a huge section of that channel was people just craving this Philippines content. So we then created TriFate PH. Welcome.
Like he said, we want to travel, but we don't want to abandon all of you guys, so here we are. But one thing that's happened so far is a lot of people have not transferred from our main channel, which is clearly no longer a Philippines-only channel, because we haven't been in the Philippines on that channel for like 9 months. And we posted one Philippines-themed video on that channel, and it got triple the amount of views any video gets on this channel anytime recently. So tell your friends to come to TriFate PH, you know?
But yeah, once we created this channel, now that we have Philippines specifically in the name, obviously the concept of Pinoy baiting comes back up. So that's why we're here to talk about it again today.
What is Pinoy baiting? Generally, we throw Pinoy baiting into what we would describe as nationalist vlogging, which has become the big craze in the vlogging sphere. Basically, it's everyone is always shocked. Everything is so modern. Everything's just unexpected. Basically, just telling people that your country is the best. You guys are fantastic. My gosh, I'm so amazed. I thought this was just going to be a rundown third world country where people live in the jungle only and eat sticks.
It's basically just become a huge validation. I want to make a big line here. We have that side, which is the Pinoy baiting, and then another side, which we get called for Pinoy baiting, and I understand why people might think is Pinoy baiting, but is not. And that is just making content about the Philippines. Some people label us as Pinoy baiters if we just make anything about the Philippines, which, yeah, we are specifically baiting Pinoy viewers into our videos, but that's what you do in anything.
You just said Pinoy baiting backwards.
Oh, that is kind of the whole concept of YouTube. You want to attract a certain viewer base. Is it gamer baiting if you make a video game video because you're trying to attract
baiting?
Video game? Yeah, is it K-pop baiting when we make K-pop videos? Yeah, maybe. But the whole point I think that people try to make with Pinoy baiting is people being disingenuous for money and using those viewers for that money.
The problem is it gets skewed and it turns into every single person that makes any form of content about the Philippines is a Pinoy baiter. And there needs to be a distinction. And it seems like people are either in two camps. They're either in everything is Pinoy baiting or nothing is Pinoy baiting. I just don't understand why there is no fine line between these things.
Going along with what he said earlier about being shocked about everything and surprised, that's typically in the titles of the videos, the modern shock, blah, blah, blah. And then the thumbnails also go along with that. Just extreme, like, glass buildings, specifically just showcasing little corners of the Philippines that people want to see rather than just doing what they were doing, traveling.
Some AI backgrounds here and there. Why not?
I mean, if you want to even go into that, some random, like, weird AI girls on the thumbnails, what does that have to do with anything about their video subject?
One thing I think also that is super Pinoy baiting is if you see a new vlogger or a vlogger that's never been to the Philippines, they show up and they start doing modern Philippines, first time in BGC. Oh my gosh, so modern. Oh my gosh, I'm shocked. If that's their first video there and that's what they show up with, they are in the Philippines because they know Filipinos will watch their video and give them views and subs.
And typically these people have been to Singapore or
Dubai.
Seoul or Tokyo. They've been to all these places and then they act like they've never seen a 3D billboard before or something. I mean, we recently did a trip to China and there's 3D billboards in every single city we went to, and people somehow are super shocked by one in BGC, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's got a food panda on it.
And somehow they never have seen one before. They just act like they've never seen one before. That's baiting.
So we were just like, oh, I really wish more Philippines viewers would kind of look into that because we constantly are seeing these just awful Pinoy baiters. Like they come here, they have no good intentions except exploitation, and they're getting views. They're getting views and more views and more views. I mean, you see people going out, and I mean, we have done a typhoon video, but it was more about us experiencing the typhoon. It wasn't going out and recording other people's misery in the typhoon because we'd never experienced a typhoon before in our life. But there are people that go out when there's a huge weather event and they go out in the streets and record it because they're like, ooh, a weather event, this will get me views.
They specifically go to a certain place far where they live from just to see like the crazy part.
Yeah, the place where they know like the storm is going to be bad and the streets are going to flood. They're not going there to help. They're going there to record and drive in their car and record people's houses flooding. I mean, that is Pinoy baiting.
They're not Jim Cantori. What are they? They're not like a meteorologist getting in there for some news reporting or something.
Jim Cantori, that is a name that I always know.
You don't know Jim Cantori, the famous meteorologist? Also going off that, there's people that literally, like some of the bigger vloggers, we've heard them say before that I came to the Philippines because the views were better.
They just straight up said it. They straight up admitted it. And people are like, ha ha, ha, okay. That's cool.
And on one hand, you can look at our channel and be like, oh, you guys did that too. You guys just came to the Philippines for views. And now you're not going to any other countries. If you look at TriFate Lifestyle right now, obviously we're going to other countries. And if you're wondering why we're not going to certain countries, it's because we can't afford it. Guys, can you tell I'm in the Philippines? I'm sweating my nuts off in here because I can't turn on my AC.
Oh, and we've made dozens of videos in these countries where we don't get views because we enjoy making videos. It's just at some point, the lack of money that we have from just jumping right into vlogging and making it our only income source gives us so many less opportunities than some other YouTubers like couple travelers who just go to every hot country. For example, when the Philippines started popping off big time, about 6 months after we showed up, I'd say is when the Philippines started popping off for vlogs like the most. At least after the point that we were there. And suddenly all these couple travelers started showing up. And now China kind of seems like it's the it country. And all those couple travelers left the Philippines and have gone over to China and now making videos in China. And then also during this time, you also had a bunch of big YouTubers coming over to the Philippines, like YouTubers with millions of subs, with their fancy editors and their cameramen coming over the Philippines. And obviously these people that just randomly head over here because they heard Philippines will get you a lot of views and a lot of subs. And they're like, okay, I've never traveled to any other country before, but I'm just going to go to the Philippines right now. They just have so much more opportunity to do all these things with all the money and editing and quality that they have, that people like us, where we're in the Philippines and we make a lot of Philippines videos, we do it because that's our job. And if we don't get views, we don't have money.
You can obviously point out a lot of hypocrisy in the things that we're saying, because obviously we've done some of these things before. But sometimes that is due to survivability, and typically within the content of the video itself, we never actually lie about anything. The closest we get to it sometimes, I would say, is sometimes in our food reactions. The first bite typically is a little bit better than once you're eating the food a little bit more. So maybe there's times where we're like, wow, this food's really good. And then once we get into it more after the camera's off, we're like, oh shoot, maybe it's not as good as we thought. But that's not even being disingenuous. That's just recency bias, I guess.
And one more example of Pinoy baiting that I've seen recently is like a vlogger that's been in the Philippines long time. Suddenly their views start to drop a little bit and they just jump ship. See you later. Move on to the next. We kind of did that, but it's not because our views are better. Our views have actually dropped since we went to other countries. But these people, their views dropped and clearly they're like, oh, well, there's no point of me staying here anymore. It's not like I actually like the country. And then they just leave.
And I mean, a big reason that we're not posting as many Philippines videos as we want to right now is just because Tyler's in the US. That's not because he doesn't like the Philippines or anything like that.
I wish I was there right now.
You could be enjoying this crazy storm going on right now. We're going to keep drawing that line in the sand. And we're going to stop talking about the bads and start talking about some goods. We're going to specifically name names because who doesn't like some praise? One of the people that we actually knew about before any of the other vloggers, before we even knew about Pinoy baiting or anything, was Becoming Filipino. We reacted to his Lakaton, the canon, the Filipino canon thing in the jungle. His video on that. So we knew about him a long time ago. And I think he's the prime example of someone who loves the country, loves the adventure, the travel, and the culture. Like, he loves it way more than even we do, obviously, because he's been here for so long. And his videos match that. His titles tell you what you're gonna get.
Another possible example is someone like Jessica Lee, who seems like she's actually really invested into the Filipino culture too. She does like the food style videos, like the type of videos that we would like to eventually make someday. But generally, if we're not doing kind of the vlogger style go to modern places or do some sort of vlog video, our videos don't do as well, so we don't really have the opportunity because, like we said, money to do videos like Becoming Filipino, where he just gets to go on epic adventures, or Jessica Lee, where you just get to do like cool food videos, because we don't have the budget for that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these are people that we'd love to like emulate their style, sort of. Obviously, we have our own style that we'd throw on as well, but there's some sort of inspiration to us, I guess, here in the Philippines.
Another person who I genuinely believe, until he stopped, that wasn't really Pinoy baiting either, was Filipino Lou. I mean, he's just some Korean guy that was just walking around the Philippines.
Yeah, I mean, I still talked to him a few times recently, and he was just talking. A big reason why he stopped it is because, as he said, he would spend a certain amount of money and then he wouldn't make it back, so it wasn't sustainable for him. But he enjoyed the travel, and he's been telling me he wants to go out and travel again. I don't know if I can expose this information, but he wants to travel again.
It just sucks. When you don't sell your soul, you end up getting less views in this environment. And when you get less views, eventually you don't have enough money to do anything exciting. And maybe you get burnt out.
Yes, burnout was a huge thing for us. The burnout intensifies extremely when you see all these other people doing this low effort content with these titles and the Pinoy baiting and just outperforming you. And then you're like, oh, wow.
Let us specify that low effort content doesn't mean that it's low quality. I mean, a lot of these people have very nice editing on their videos, but the content itself is just looking at other vloggers being like, oh, they went to this area, I'm going to go there and say the same thing.
I respect a travel vlog where you go somewhere and you explore and do all this stuff, but the fact that all these people go to the same few spots and say the same talking points.
When it comes down to it, you are being lied to. Realistically, I mean, these people may be partially shocked. Maybe they thought the Philippines was jungle only, and they come here and they're like, oh, wow, it's actually pretty nice, but they aren't telling you the whole truth. It's just the reality. I know some people really want to believe it, but it's just not the whole truth.
You know what they say, a half-truth is a whole lie.
This kind of comes down to our next topic here, and it's, why is this ruining vlogging? It is. I mean, just the examples we said, we see these people with way higher budgets than us. Maybe they're rich people that are just like, oh, I'm just going to start vlogging now. I got a ton of money. Or maybe they're just a couple travelers that just go and do the same stuff. When we see these people do the same videos, the same over-the-top thumbnails, the same lies, and their videos pop off, and then we try to do something different. We try to go to some random place, walk down some random street that no vlogger's ever gone, and our videos do so much worse. We're just like, oh, it just kind of takes away our motivation. Because a lot of times we like find these cool areas and we're like, oh, that would be cool. Let's go in there and just kind of see what happens. Or we try a different concept, like getting every single type of fried chicken and doing a tier list, but it flops. So then we're like, oh, I guess we'll go back to being shocked about BGC or walking around malls because that's all people click on.
We're being backed into like a corner by YouTube or just audiences or whatever. And it's a corner that is gonna take out our personality in the videos. And we don't want that because we won't enjoy ourselves and we won't enjoy the videos when we see them if we're backed into that corner the whole time. I mean, some of the videos that we like to just watch in our free time back of our old vlogs are typically the vlogs we filmed before we were vloggers, like some of our stuff in Georgia or US vlogs before on TriFate, before we were even official vloggers, because you can see that love for travel, the adventure.
Thought our viewers would be people that want to see adventures. They love traveling. They want to see different parts of the world. But what we found out, it's just people that want foreigners to tell them that their country is cool. Their country is amazing.
I mean, you would have expected travel vlogs to have travel viewers. And although we've been talking about the Philippines as the subject matter for this video, it's not unique to the Philippines. Specifically, the words Pinoy baiting are unique. The concept of it being verbalized in a comment section is unique. But it's in every single country we see. Those couple travelers we talk about, now that they're in China, they're saying all the same things about China that they were saying about the Philippines and stuff like that.
It was interesting because I feel like it was really the first time we saw it. And now it's literally spread to the people are doing it in Europe and the US now. I never expected, because I mean, Europe vlogs before were always like people going there and hitting the cool spots or finding like unknown places or going to like Eastern Europe, places people known, but now it's people going, first impressions of Amsterdam? I wasn't expecting this. I don't know what happened to the whole vlog niche, not just the Philippines.
And now having all this stuff and being back in that corner, sometimes we're seeing ourselves do those titles or thumbnails, but it doesn't match the content of our video at all. It might drive in a few extra viewers to do that for us, but we're like, oh, what's the point? We don't want people to just click on the video. We want people to watch it and enjoy it. And we want us to enjoy it, and we want it to be something creative. We want it to be YouTube, not a business. Although it's our main source of income, we don't want it to be a business necessarily. We don't want it to be all just about numbers, this, that, and that. It's another line that we want to draw, but it's a hard line to draw because it's our only source of income.
We're in a super weird spot. I mean, no matter where we are, like for example, China's being posted on our lifestyle channel right now, and we keep having this discussion. We're like, do we clickbait? Last time we were in China, we did these over-the-top clickbait titles and it worked well for us. But these people that are coming in and watching all of these other travel vloggers that are doing these titles, and then in their videos, they're doing what they say in the title. They're like, oh, wow, I didn't expect this. Wow, I'm shocked. And then we come in and we're like, let's go. We don't know what to do. We don't know if we do it just to get the extra views and then people just instantly leave the video when we're weird and we aren't shocked about anything, or if we just do our normal titles and just accept less views, because that's what's going to happen if we do not clickbait.
And now, as we deliberate all the time about our titles and stuff, we're also wondering what's next. What's the future for us after addressing all this stuff?
Are we going to quit vlogging?
You might be shockingly surprised to figure out our modern futuristic solution to our problem. We're just gonna keep vlogging. We don't know what we're going to do exactly, what type of titles, thumbnails, whatever. Based off what we have to do right now because of our income situation, we're just going to have to do what works. Try to put in our own stuff of what we want to do as well, and hopefully you guys like that as well. But yeah, that's the future for now.
We're going to try our best to keep this thing going. We're going to try our best not to have to sink down to clickbaiting and being opportunist vloggers. But, I mean, we got to do what we got to do. Am I right?
You got to live another day to pay another bill. Am I right? I made that up. I don't think I've heard that before.
You got to pay your rent somehow.
Yeah, my rent's not paying itself.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, learned something about kind of our views on Pinoy baiting. I'm sure it was another long talking video because we are great at that, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long the video is going to turn out to be, but my recording is 50 minutes right now.
We're just going to keep vlogging and keep trying things. Some things that we try are going to fail, and there's going to be people in the comments that will be like, oh, you failed at this. And we'll be like, yeah, we did. All right.
A little Easter egg for all the people that have made it this far in the video. Hybrid Fate should hopefully be ending very soon.
Hopefully. Let's get it back and going. TriFate vlogs are coming, and hopefully with bigger and better adventures.
Yippee!
And hopefully TriFate PH doesn't sink into obscurity, and then we just start posting Philippines vlogs back on TriFate Lifestyle. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.